Welcome back to LEGO Wars and the final part of this year's international special. We've had a wild ride throughout the round of 32, but here's where the going gets tough. 4 more fights stand between our 16 surviving robots and the prestige of being the 2022 international champions. Let's remind ourselves of the combatants and countries left standing.
First, from England and reigning champion, Atlas.
After a brief scare from Aggro Wobber, the defending champs stamp their authority and have their sights set on more international glory.
From Ukraine, Block of Napalm.
The rookie machine survived a beating from Magulo to be here. Time will tell though whether those repairs can hold up.
From England, Petunia.
Our patched up pink machine broke this announcer's heart last week beating Sweepy, so I look forward to the penance to be served.
From Australia, Bitty Evo.
Despite a bruising fight from their fellow Aussies last time, the rebuilt Chompy has the pedigree to be a threat for the title again tonight.
From the USA, Duck.
The former grand finalist escaped the clutches of the second seed to be here tonight and has to be considered one of the favourites to finally lift a trophy.
From Malta, Hospital.
They slayed the cursed Mastiff to be here, so really anything else is just a bonus.
From Japan, King B Cubed.
A steady performance brought King B to the round of 16. Time will tell though whether that's enough to go far.
From Japan, Mecha Bowser.
Despite a squeaky shell issue in round 1, our Cyborg Cooper appears to be in fine form for another deep run.
From England, Mingo.
An unconvincing win over Thwackenassen brought Mingo through to tonight, but we get to see the potential of that upgraded weaponry.
From Scotland, Mr Waffle.
The unassuming Waffle brought on the upset of the competition so far with its disposal of Panic Attack. They'll need that bacon bar attached though if they wish to go further.
From Canada, Nightmare.
After the demise of Zoidy Blue, Nightmare now has the weight of Canadian hopes on its fairings. The decimation of Frenzy though gives it hope that it will go far.
From the Netherlands, Petunia.
The Dutch machine appears to have banished its demons from last year and could be on the way to reclaiming that title.
From the USA, Scorpions.
The only Halosaur in LEGO Wars took down the frantic Rusty last time and could be a dark horse overall.
From the USA, Tantrum.
The BattleBots champs scored a very lucky KO against Hijinks to be here. We get to see though how potent that punching weapon is.
From England, Welding 2.
The domestic champs weathered the destructive storm from Diddler Mark III last week and looks in fine form to do the double.
From Northern Ireland, Weldor M.
A controversial judge's decision took Weldor M into the finals tonight and will have its work cut out to stay in the competition. Let's see how they'll line up for the round of 16. We'll begin with a rematch from Series 2 between Atlas and Mingo, followed by a clash of BattleBots eras between Tantrum and Nightmare. Then it's King B Cube tackling the rookies Hospitaller, with the former champs Petunia then fighting Mecha Bowser. On to the second half when we have 2 horizontal spinners in Mr Waffle and Weldor M, then it's Chompy Evo against Block of Napalm. The penultimate fight of this round sees the current domestic champs Waddle 2 face the sweepy killer Catonemodia, and finally it's another BattleBots encounter with Scorpios v Duck. Let the fighting begin.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
So, kicking off the round of 16 then, it's an All England affair. Atlas with the big bucket scoop and the tracks, and two-headed Flamingo with the pink and the peckers. Not too sure how effective they're going to be in this battle, but there we go. Atlas, very sturdily built of course, trundling along. I think has got the better pushing power due to the grippiness of the tracks, but I could be wrong there. Two-headed Flamingo beat the Egyptian Thwackenassen to get this far. First ever Egyptian robot in LEGO Wars history, actually. So there we go, down come those peckers now on top of Atlas, but Atlas very sturdily built, not many break-off parts on Atlas, and they're going to struggle to do damage to them here. Going for the pit though, so they must be confident that they can get Atlas down at the pit. I'm not too sure how they've got the pushing power though. Every time they seem to come in on the side or so. Oh, look at that though! They've managed to get one of the peckers into the tracks of Atlas. And a well-timed attack could have had one of those tracks off. But Atlas managing to wiggle free. And now using that bucket scoop sort of as a defense mechanism really. Sort of like a shield. Blocking the peckers from getting any more attacks in and pushing them backwards. Atlas has definitely got the more pushing power here of these two. So, with the pit open, that could prove to be a problem, but down come the peckers once again of Mingo, and this is a good tactic here, sort of scooping them up, grabbing a hold of Atlas, and then maybe trying to get them towards the pit. But Atlas, very well driven. Something's come off of Mingo. Not too sure where that came off. I think it came off the top of Mingo. I think it's superficial damage, and I'll be honest, I think they did it themselves, actually. I don't think that was an attack from Atlas that did that. I'd actually have to say Mingo are on top at the moment. They've definitely been the more control of these two. Certainly the more aggressive. Down... I say more controlled, and then they completely missed with both hammers. Oh, that was good, wasn't it? Atlas trying to get around the back now. Atlas, I think a little bit too slow for Mingo here. Although, that was a good attack, managing to get in on the side now and pinning Mingo against the side wall, bringing the lifting scoop in. Can they pluck them off the ground? Lifting them into the air slowly but surely. It's a slow but a deliberate weapon on Atlas. Fly underneath. Can they get Mingo flipped over? If they can, Mingo does struggle to self-right. Nope, Mingo able to get away. Oh, and a big cuddle of embrace! And Mingo nearly toppled over and being driven towards the pit, and surely it's only a matter of moments until they are down and out. Well, what a win there. Out of nowhere, really, for Atlas. Brilliant control. Brilliantly done. Atlas, go through. Very tentative battle, that one. Both robots really just seem to feel each other out for the most part. I would say Mingo were on top, managing to get those Pekkas into play, managing to nearly pry one of the tracks off there, as you can see. Then they lost their top panel, which I think was more done by themselves, to be honest. They grabbed a hold of Atlas, but then in trying to cuddle them, by the looks of things, Atlas were able to get underneath, clamp down with their bucket scoop, and shove them into the pit. Atlas, advance.
Another close shave there for the defending champs, but they pull through to the quarterfinals. Next up is Nightmare vs Tantrum.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
So it is the US versus Canada as we see the two BattleBots legends clash. Nightmare, legends of the classic BattleBots days. Tantrum, meanwhile, the reigning BattleBots champions. So lots to be expected from them, although I'm not too sure how well that design works in LEGO, for goodness me! And lots of damage already being caused there by Nightmare, that huge flywheel. It was destructive in their last battle against Frenzy, and it's being destructive here against Tantrum. Tantrum were a little bit lucky. They beat Hijinks in the last round after Hijinks died under absolutely no pressure whatsoever. More damage being caused there to the front of Tantrum. Nightmare by far on top here. It's the quicker of the two machines, and it's by far got the more effective weapon, that is for certain. I'm not too sure how well Tantrum's punching spinner works and transitions into LEGO, I must be honest. It hasn't been that effective in battle thus far, though it is a sturdy machine, so there is that going for him. Nightmare well on top here, but one of the weapon belts has come up again, and that is crucial. Because now that weapon of theirs will not be spinning as potently as it was before, and Tantrum have a real chance and an opportunity to come back here now. Although they seem to have got themselves stuck on the weapon belt. Nightmare being kind, giving them a little bit of a helping hand. I'm a bit surprised about that. They could have left them. They could have had the win there. Maybe that's just that Canadian niceness coming through. But they are by far on top here, Nightmare. And they have been a real nightmare for Tantrum, who just have not managed to get going. Off comes another eye. Tantrum's weapon may be spinning, but it's not spinning effectively, and for me, Nightmare by far on top here. Like I said, it is the quickest, it's the more manoeuvrable, it's the more aggressive, although Tantrum are coming in on the offensive now, actually. Trying to use tactical driving to maybe outmaneuver Nightmare, get them towards the pit, get them towards the arena spikes, perhaps. Nightmare's spinner doesn't seem to be as well balanced as well, and all of a sudden, Tantrum could have a real chance here. Both robots colliding again. Nightmare still on the aggressive, so they're still confident. They're able to. They're not scared of that spinner of Tantrum's, are they? They're quite happy to drive straight into it. Tantrum's weapon stopped there for a moment, but it is spinning back up now. As you can see, the main problem I think for Tantrum here is it doesn't seem to have much grip on the arena floor. It seems to almost slide around the arena floor. Maybe that's something they might have to improve for future battles. Nightmare, for me, still winning this one at the moment, but Tantrum could come back and get a good win here, and a surprise win if they keep up this offense and they keep up this maneuverability. But like I said, look, Nightmare just able to move away, get away from danger, doing more damage there to Tantrum, despite the fact his weapon is only on half power. Oh, and I think serious damage was done there. Yes, look, the spinner has now been bent, but in retracting the spinner, they were able to get it to spin back up to speed. We're in the final 6 seconds. Tantrum have managed to survive to a judge's decision. But I think this has got Nightmare's win all over it. Nightmare did the more damage, was the more aggressive, and for me, was the superior machine. Good fight, that one, but yeah, looking back, Nightmare for me definitely had this one. Serious damage was done to the front of Tantrum there and there as well. Nightmare may have lost one of their weapon belts here, look, but it didn't really seem to affect them too much. They were still able to come in on the attack, and Tantrum were not able to capitalise on that. They weren't able to outmaneuver them, they weren't able to use good aggression, and Nightmare for me definitely finished the stronger towards the end as well.
And the winner by unanimous decision is Nightmare. Another impressive performance there from the Battlebricks machine to march on. Now it's the fellow rookies Hospitaller taking on the veteran King B Cubed.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
Interesting battle this one, both of them four-wheel drive robots with powerful front-lifting weapons. The shield at the front of Hospitaller comes off immediately. I think that's just superficial though, I think that's just there for decoration. King B Cubed, of course, representing Japan. Seeded 5th for this international tournament. Bags of experience. They'd be the favourites due to said experience. Hospitaller representing Malta, the first Maltese robot in LEGO Wars history. Hoping to maybe release the pit. Yes, and do so. The pit goes down. Can Hospitaller now use that to its advantage? It's got that great big lifting front plough. I tell you one thing though, it really does seem to struggle with turning. We noticed it in his last fight against Mastiff, and we're noticing it here as well. It just seems to struggle to lift, to turn, although it has got a good lift here though on King B Cubed, but King B Cubed able to get away, wriggling free, that four-wheel drive coming into effect. Trying to get underneath the front of Hospitaller, not working on any of those attempts. So Hospitaller definitely has the lower ground clearance at the front, but King B Cubed has the better traction on the arena floor and the better manoeuvrability. Hospitaller really are struggling out there. You can see how difficult they're finding it to turn, and King B Cubed trying to climb up them. I don't really know what they're doing there. Really, they're trying to do push-ups on them or something. What on earth are they doing? Backing away now, King B Cubed. Hospitaller very close to that pit, and the problem is when you can't gain a lot of traction on the arena floor and you're struggling with manoeuvrability, you don't want to be close to that pit because King B Cubed could take advantage of that and throw them in. Well, I have to give Malta a lot of credit. They have built a pretty cool robot here, and I think with a few tweaks it could definitely be a serious contender in LEGO Wars, but their manoeuvrability problems have definitely let them down so far. I'd say King B Cubed are on top as far as control and aggression are concerned. Can Hospitaller bring that front lifter back into play? Oh, King B Cubed now underneath the front lifter. Good driving there by King B Cubed, trying to get underneath, trying to pluck them up into the air, but not managing to. And I tell you what, I will say this much, King B Cubed's forks have been absolutely useless in this. They haven't managed to lift them up into the air as much as I thought they would. This has been a very tentative battle, actually. And by tentative, I mean it's boring. Come on, muller each other, smash each other to pieces. This is LEGO Wars, not LEGO Ballet. What are you doing? Come on. I think one of Hospitaller's front wedges has come off there. You can just see it there at the left of your screen. I'm paying attention to that, of course, because it's the only thing that's happened in this fight that's worth mentioning so far. King B Cubed once again trying to do push-ups. What are they doing? Seriously? This isn't the gym, lads. It's the arena. You're meant to be fighting each other. And King B Cubed very near the pit, but getting away. Good. What are they doing? Oh, for a minute, I thought they were going to back into the pit. I'm wondering if there's some reception problems going on here. I'm not too sure. Neither machine is performing as well as we hoped they would. We're in the final 5 seconds. This is going to go to the judges. I'm not too sure how they're going to decide who's won this one, to be honest, because, well, nothing happened. So, the highlights of that battle. King B Cubed got lifted by Hospitaller. That was a good highlight. King B Cubed showed a bit of aggression, I think. Oh, one of Hospitaller's front wedges got broken. That was something. And that's about it.
And the winner by unanimous decision is King B Cubed. With a win for one Japanese representative, let's see if their compatriot Mecha Bowser can beat the ex-champs Petunia to join them.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
Petunia, they're off to a very, very quick start and coming around the side of Mecha Bowser. Going to try and bring that claw in and crumple down. The Dutch clutch. Didn't actually do it on that occasion. And now coming in and trying to get the claw onto that spinning shell. That's a brave move. There by Petunia. Representing the Netherlands, as I just mentioned. Mecha Bowser from Japan, seeded 4th for this tournament. The favourites for sure, although Petunia definitely using good control and aggression early on to get that claw into play. Now managing to get a hold of one of the arms of Mecha Bowser. And Mecha Bowser can't really do anything here. Their spin has been stopped by the claw as well. And this is all Petunia for me so far. So Mecha Bowser are going to have to really try their hardest to come back from this. Petunia, the quicker of the two robots, the bigger of the two robots, believe it or not. Trying to get that claw into play. That was a better attack there from Mecha Bowser, hitting the front wedge of Petunia. Petunia, I think, trying to take the head off of Mecha Bowser. That would be something. I heard about claiming scalps. That's ridiculous. Grabbing a hold once again, trying to give them the cold shoulder, I guess. That was a terrible joke. I apologise. There's the pit button, and it's been pressed by Petunia. They must be confident they can get Mecha Bowser down the pit, and being honest, I would be if I was them as well, although I do think a little bit of damage has been done to Petunia there. You can see a piece on the arena floor. I think that came off of Petunia, but I'm not too sure, I must be honest. Something came off of Mecha Bowser that time, though. So it damages itself. It's top heavy. It's lost a part of its spinning shell, and it's in the pit! Great work there by Petunia to send them down, crashing. And the Dutch go through to the next round. Well, that fight was all Petunia for me. Mecha Bowser just could not get that spinning shell into action. Petunia, the more aggressive, the more controlled, the more damaging, the quicker across the arena as well, causing all sorts of damage along the way. Managing to try and pry that arm off, nearly did so. Off came a part of the spinning shell, and then one great push sent the number 4 seeds down the pit and scurrying back to Japan.
After that brilliant display from the former international champions, we'll move across to the other side of the round of 16 with Mr Waffle of Scotland and Welding of Northern Ireland.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
So we have a real battle of the bar spinners here. Mr Waffle from Scotland, Welding M from Northern Ireland. Both were very impressive in the last round. Welding M ripping off the face of Mr Waffle. That always happens. I honestly don't think it's a shock at this point. Mr Waffle, of course, beat Panic Attack in the last round. That was a huge shock. Welding M, meanwhile, beat Dietor. Both were very, very impressive in their respective battles. If I had to pick a favourite out of these two so far, it would probably be Mr Waffle. Oh, and Welding M nearly caught out by the pit there. And now Mr Waffle pushing them towards the pit. And one very well-timed push could have Welding down the pit, but they back away. Good driving there by Welding M. Oh, they were on the verge of going down there. Oh, and a big meeting of the two bar spinners there. Something came flying off. I think that came off of the spinner of Mr Waffle. Welding M lifted up by the spikes, causing their bar to hit the floor. Something came flying off the air. Went out the arena, actually. Welding, I think they came off of Welding's spinner. It did. Oh, and there it goes. The spinner finally coming off. It was about time. It was on borrowed time at this point. Took long enough to get that far. And now surely this will make Mr Waffle the favourite to win this one and do it for Scotland. But Welding M showing itself to have superior pushing power, pushing Mr Waffle back. Oh, goodness me! But the front wedge completely torn away, and surely now it's only a matter of time. Go on, throw yourselves in, Welding M. It wouldn't be the first time you did it. Wouldn't be the first, second or third, actually, now I think about it. Oh dear, well, it's been great to see the Welding team back, and fair play to them. They managed to get one really good victory. Very impressive victory. Oh, and I thought they were going to throw themselves in once again there. But they managed to slam the anchors on, but it's all futile, I'm afraid. Mr Waffle by far on top. By far done the more damage. And by far seems to be struggling to move, actually. Out of the two of them, it seems to be the one struggling to move more. Can Welding M bring this one back? Mr Waffle. Oh, what are they doing? Oh, Mr Waffle. Oh, what on earth was that about? Mr Waffle had that and they completely threw it down the toilet. Weldor M, I must admit, did start the stronger, but Mr Waffle did slowly but surely come back, taking off the bar spinner. They also used good control and good aggression and good pushing power to control Weldor M. They also managed to take off the front wedge of Weldor M with a well-timed hit. It was all going well for them, and then they drove themselves onto the edge of the pit and were pushed in.
As Weldor proves it's definitely not a waffle bot, we'll move on to our next fight between Chompy Evo and the lucky block of napalm.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
If you had made a bet with me that block of napalm would have made it this far into the tournament, I would have laughed in your face. But here we are. You would be laughing at me now because I would have lost some money on that. They managed to beat Magulo from Brazil in the last round in perhaps the biggest upset of the tournament. Chompy from Australia beat fellow Australian Annie in the last round. And now managing to get those lifting chompers up to pluck block of napalm into the air. But block of napalm managing to stay on their wheels. That's good control there by the Ukrainian machine. And managing to get away now. Bringing down those stabbing mandibles, but being plucked up again by Chompy and flipped up and over. Now, can they right themselves? Oh, yes, they can. Fantastic. Very quick self-righting there from block of napalm. Chompy now grabbing a hold of block of napalm and pulling off the back panel. Goodness me. This is a brilliant fight turning out so far. I honestly didn't see this fight being this good, did you? But here we are. I guess this is this tournament to shut me up for good. Chompy once again grabbing hold of block of napalm but not managing to pluck them into the air. Block of napalm meanwhile trying to use those stabbing mandibles. I'm not really too sure how effective they are, to be honest. They're great at self-righting, but as an actual effective weapon? No sir, not at all. Going for the pit button though, block of napalm, and releasing the pit. So are they confident then? Do they think they can send Chompy back down under? Good self-righting once again there from block of napalm. Just Chompy pluck them into the air. This is a really good fight brewing out here. Chompy for me are on top due to the damage and the control and, well, the aggression as well, to be honest. But you can't deny block of napalm have put on one heck of a performance here. You're showing great determination, great passion for the sport as well. This little Ukrainian machine is defying all the odds. Although I think this is an odd they can't quite defy. Is Chompy lining them up towards the pit. But they're using those mandibles, look, to try and pry themselves away. Great tactics. This is probably one of the best fights of this tournament so far. Absolutely incredible. Chompy not managing to get block of napalm down the pit. Now doing more damage to the front of block of napalm and prying the face off. So now it's faceless. This is absolutely incredible. Chompy now once again plucking up block of napalm. This is such a great fight. Better than I thought it was ever going to be, and I think everyone at home can agree with that statement, including the builders, I must be honest. This has been one heck of a fight. For me, though, Chompy definitely seemed to be on top, and I think napalm seem to be struggling a little bit with control problems now. They're not moving as well as they were. It's gone into the final 10 seconds. This is going to go to the judges. I think it's a bit of an easy decision for them, but you can't deny block of napalm came to fight and they fought well. That was a really, really good fight. Great stuff. Chompy, for me, definitely did all the work throughout that one. Managing to pluck up block of napalm several times, even flipping it over a couple of times as well. But block of napalm's self-righting was fantastic throughout that, and that's what kept them in the game, really. Another flick there from Chompy. And another one. For me, the control, the aggression, and the damage are all Chompy's. But fair play to block of napalm for lasting as long as they did. And Chompy weren't able to finish them off. That's something we might have to look out for later on in this tournament.
And the winner by unanimous decision is Chompy Evo. With Chompy Evo still playing with its blocky food, we'll progress on to the penultimate fight of this round as an All-England encounter between Welding 2 and Petunia.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
Waddle D2 will start as the favourites here. Not only are the reigning LEGO Wars champions, but they completely destroyed the Diddler Mark III in the last round. Petunia, meanwhile, Always been a bit of a novelty robot, but has never been terrible either. Has done well in the past of LEGO Wars. Takes a lot of damage, but always keeps going. It's very sturdy and it's very robust, despite what is currently happening to it. But that robot, I can guarantee you will continue moving throughout the entirety of this fight, no matter how much damage it takes. This is going to be a very difficult opponent for Waddle Dee 2 to fight. And his bit me, always Waddle Dee 2's spinner there a bit wobbly. Whoa. Very wobbly, in fact. I've never seen it wobble that much before in battle. And Cat and Amonia may have noticed that and have gone for the pit button, so they must think they can get Waddle Dee 2 down the pit. I laugh about not being able to pronounce his name, but I am very impressed with its build structure and with how well it does take the hits from other robots. Oh, like that one, for example. And I think a piece even went down the back of the arena. Look, you can see it sticking out on the right-hand side of your screen. Oh. Oh dear, one of the wheels has come off as well, and the front wedge is mullered, the side panels are mullered, but it's still going, as it always does. Waddle Dee 2 though, doing all the damage. Both these machines, of course, representing England in this international special. Oh dear! Oh! Oh, it's hard not to laugh, and this is what happens when you bring pink robots into LEGO Wars. Pink robots? No, we don't like those in LEGO Wars, I'm afraid. And another wheel's come off, I think, meaning it's only a two-wheel drive machine now. Which is still going somehow. It will not go down. What do they power that thing with? Steroids? Steroids, maybe? I don't know, I'm reading too much into this, aren't I? And fair play to them, they're still trying to bring their axe into play. Not too sure how effective it's going to be, though. Oh dear! The chassis taking damage as well. Although, I think one of the self-righting arms on Waddle Dee 2 has been bent there, look. So that does count as damage in their favour. I don't honestly think it matters all that much, really, but in the grand scheme of things, one of the motors is hanging out now as well. And it's still going. It will not die. It is the most stubborn thing in all of LEGO Wars. As it trudges along, gently, Waddle Dee 2 with another hit. And another one. And we're into the final 10 seconds. Somehow this is going to go to the judges. I don't think it's going to take them too long to decide. But I tell you what, fair play to Catamonia, just hanging on, even on the edge of the pit at the very end. And Waddle Dee 2 with a late hit. That's bad sportsmanship. Oh dear. Pretty obvious winner there. Waddle Dee 2 absolutely mullering Catamonia, just taking off its face, its side panels, its wheels. Look at the pieces just littering the arena. All over the place. Bits and pieces went flying everywhere. Bits and pieces got stuck in different parts of the arena. Oh, that's what you call an annihilation.
And the winner by unanimous decision is Waddle Dee 2. At this point, we're going to have Peter on our backs with so much cruelty. Scorpios, Duck, try not to commit any crimes in this fight.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
This is the battle for the last place in the quarterfinals of this international special. Both of these machines, Duck and Scorpios, representing the US of A, are BattleBots legends. Both did well to get this far. Scorpios, of course, beat Rusty. Duck beat last time's international runners-up Zoidy Blue in a very impressive display. They've got the experience, they've had the form of success. They would have to be the favourites for this one. Scorpios have that deadly overhead spinner, which seems to be hanging a little bit limp there, actually. I think they've already lost their spinner. They have, look, it's not working. It's staying down and it's not spinning, and if that's the case, that will give Duck a huge advantage here, as it's the only one with a working weapon now. Scorpios thankfully have got good driving, but good driving will only get you so far. You need a weapon as well in LEGO Wars. Duck now have the full advantage, and they are going to take full advantage of this situation, managing to pluck Scorpios into the air there, trying to get around the back, trying to get around the side and push them along. They know a head-on. Scorpios can give them a good fight. but at a side-on advantage, they should have Scorpios, and they're right on the edge of the pit now, and surely it's over, yes! Great work there by Duck, able to control Scorpios towards the pit and dump them down. A little bit of showboating. Well, why not? That was one of Duck's best performances yet, I would say. Great aggression from early on. They used good aggression. That there was the end of Scorpios' weapon, and I think that really was what let them down overall in the end, because without that weapon they had nothing to really fight Duck with. And Duck spent the rest of the fight dominating, pushing them around, flicking them up into the air with their lifter, before eventually getting them towards the pit, and a cheeky little nudge. Down. Out go Scorpios, through go Duck.
With Duck fortunately not adding to the list of crimes in this special, we now have our 8 quarter-finalists and still 7 countries represented. First 2 up will be the defending champs Atlas against the plucky Nightmare.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
Atlas the first to move with that big scoop of theirs. They are confident to go up against Nightmare actually, because as you saw from that attack, that scoop is very hard to do damage to and is a very good defense mechanism as well as a very good offensive weapon. Nightmare, meanwhile, will be looking to get to the tracks. Oh goodness me, and very nearly did so there. Now their weapon belt, don't forget, has let them down in the last few fights, but it hasn't let them down enough for them to lose, so if they can keep those weapon belts working, they could very well have an upset on their hands here, and they could beat Atlas. Atlas releasing the pit. The reigning champions, of course, have the experience in this arena, so they, of course, know. Oh, dear me, Nightmare certainly don't. What on earth was that driving, lads? Just driving straight into the arena sidewall. Well, I know the maps in Canada aren't exactly brilliant, but they're not that bad, are they? Goodness me. Atlas now getting underneath, but failing to lift them up and over. Oh, and a good little hit there, and another good little hit there by the big spinner of Nightmare. But as I said, that scoop is a great defense mechanism. Good push there by Atlas towards the pit. Nightmare, where on earth are they going now? Driving back towards that sidewall. What have they got against our sidewall? That sidewall was very expensive, and again, nearly getting the track, but not quite getting it there. Atlas trying to get underneath them once again. Very tactical battle, this, actually. A lot more tactical than I thought it was going to be. Atlas managing to get underneath once again, but failing to flick them. But once again now getting underneath and pushing them to the side wall. That's a good tactic of theirs. One of their favourite tactics. Get underneath the machine, push it against the side wall, lift it up into the air, topple it over. It's very effective. Nightmare once again driving into the side wall. They really do need to get a hold of their control in this battle, because Atlas is known as being a very controlled machine. And they're not causing enough damage here to well, basically risk making those kind of mistakes. Once again driving into the sidewall there, but now coming off that, there's another good huge hit there by that spinner. That will definitely gain them some points. Oh, and very nearly getting to the tracks again. We know Atlas's tracks are its weak point. Plenty of spinners have exploited them in the past. Hijinks and Waddle Dee 2 are just 2 examples of that. I think they're the only examples actually now I think about it, but nonetheless, Atlas, once again, Nightmare driving into the side wall, and that is a very bad tactic because Atlas can capitalise on it, although Nightmare is by far the quicker, but it doesn't matter if you're going to drive straight into the side wall. What on earth is with them in this fight? Goodness me, and again into the side wall. And does that knock them out? They're not moving, and that means Atlas now can come in for a good attack, get underneath. Why aren't you lifting them, lads? What are you doing? Come on, bring in the lifter. Where was the lift? Oh, and now finally a hit on the tracks, but the tracks hold firm and don't break. Atlas had a huge chance there and they let it go, but then again Atlas did as well once again. Nightmare throwing themselves into the arena sidewall. We're in the final 3 seconds. It's going to go to the judges, and I'll be honest, I'm not too sure how they're going to call this. That was a really good, close, hard-fought fight. I don't know who's the winner is here. Whew, gotta get my breath back. Nightmare were definitely the more damaging robot in my opinion, although to be fair, not much damage was able to be done by that spinner look. Meanwhile, Atlas was by far the more controlled of the two. It all for me comes down to aggression really. Who was the more aggressive here? Atlas coming in on the attack, trying to get that lifting scoop into play. Nightmare, of course, trying to get a hold of the tracks of Atlas several times. But look here, the control, that really was a letdown there for Nightmare. And here again, they spent a lot of time being idle. Will that count against it in the judge's decision? Let's find out.
And the winner by split decision is Atlas. With Nightmare's frankly abysmal control being the deciding factor, Atlas continues its unbeaten run of semi-final appearances. Next up is a rematch from the very first fight in our international specials between King B Cubed and Petunia.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
A little bit of a grudge match here. These two robots have fought each other a few times in the past. Petunia with the claw would probably try and crush onto the top of King B Cubed. It's the perfect shape and the perfect size to grab a hold of. King B Cubed seeded 5th, don't forget, for this international tournament due to previous success. Petunia didn't manage to really get a hold of them with that attack. Good push there by King B Cubed, pinning them against the arena side wall and lifting them. Great attack there by King B Cubed. This is a good fight so far, Brew, between these two. We thought it would be, to be honest. They're both very good machines, both capable of putting on good performances, especially with other well-built opponents. Petunia now trying to bring the claw into the tyre of King B Cubed, but King B Cubed managing to get away. Petunia, I thought we were going to throw themselves down the pit there. King B Cubed, of course, in his last fight, beat Hospital in one of the most boring fights I think I've ever witnessed whilst doing this job. Thankfully, this one's already been more exciting. Petunia, though, getting in behind King B Cubed and driving towards the pit. Oh no, but Petunia
6,
got stuck on the edge, and King B Cubed took advantage and sent them back to the Netherlands. Oh dear, what a shame for Petunia. Good fight, that one. Petunia started off the more aggressive and the quicker of the two, managing to pin King B Cubed into the side wall and crumple down. King B Cubed, I think, with the most impactful attack of the whole fight, though, here, managing to pluck them up into the air and pin them against you in the side wall. Another good attack there by Petunia. They tried to get a hold of the King B Cube's wheel, and then look at this, in trying to get them down the pit, they ended up getting stuck themselves.
As King B Cubed gets revenge on the Dutch Clutch, we'll move on to Fight 3 of the quarterfinals and another rematch, this time from last year between Welding and Bitty Evo.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
I think this fight has the makings of a terrific battle here. Two very different machines with different styles. Weldor M, I think, have done some damage to themselves to start things off there. Some of the hazard warning panels have gone flying early in this fight. Chompy were very impressive in the last round, suplexing block of napalm all around the arena. Weldor M were a little bit lucky to get past Mr Waffle, but they have proved to be much more effective than usual in this tournament. That bar spinner causing serious damage, and they drive into our sidewall. Of course they do. They still have to get the control aspect back up and running at least. But now Chompy grabbing a hold of them and plucking off the top panel, but they weren't able to suplex them. Of course they'll be looking to do that here as they grab a hold of Weldor M's wheel. Can they do it? They're prying them up, flicking them into the air a little bit, lifting them at least a centimetre or two off the floor, but they can't seem to complete the action. As Weldor M brings that bar spinner in, trying to do damage to that lifting mechanism perhaps. Remember, they do damage to that mechanism, that will be Chompy's weapon severely hindered. Very good fight this one so far. If I had to pick a winner so far, it would be Chompy on damage and aggression. And control, actually, if I'm honest. Weldor M, though, bringing the fight back to Chompy, trying to get that bar spinner into play! And they've taken off a wheel! Now that there could be the most decisive bit of damage in this entire fight. Could very well be, because now Chompy has only got one wheel on its robot, which means it will be an easy target, I'm sure. They're just moving out of their circumference, so they are eligible to not be counted out and to continue in this fight, just I think. But their maneuverability has been severely hindered because of that, and because of that there will now be an easy target for Weldor M to bring in those attacks and bring in those hits. Can they take the other wheel off perhaps and do more damage? Completely immobilise them, I wonder. They are just moving out of their circumference zone, like I said, so they should be okay and should avoid being counted out, but the judges will have taken note of that serious damage, and surely now Weldor M are miles on top. Chompy cannot get that weaponry into play. They suplex their own wheel. But this is a perfect opportunity now for Weldor M as Chompy get a little bit too close to the pit. And their one remaining wheel sticking over the edge. And can Weld or M finish this fight properly? I'm not too sure. Surely they can get them down the pit now. Surely it's only a matter of time until Chompy is sent back down under. So things did start off very well for Chompy there. Of course, Weld or M did shed its own armour off at the beginning. They were also able to get a hold of Weld or M and pluck off their top armour with ease. Got a hold of Weld or M a couple of times, but they couldn't quite manage to get the suplex, as you can see from this replay. And then one very well-timed hit by Weld or M took off that wheel. And after that came off, well, Chompy had no hope really, apart from suplexing their own tyre, of course, before Weldor shoved them down the pit.
Weldor M's underdog performances show no sign of stopping as they make their first semi-final. Let's see who will meet them in our last quarter-final, where Waddle-Dee 2 has a chance to make amends for their only loss from last year against Duck. Try not to cobalt it again.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
So here we are with our final quarter-final of the International Special. It's going to be a rematch, and oh my goodness me, already some serious damage has been done to Waddle-Dee 2. Its 3-mech arm has been bent out of shape and is therefore getting in the way of the spinner. Now remember, these two fought each other in series. Oh dear, more damage being done to Waddle-Dee 2 as it does damage to itself. Good work there by Duck, using Waddle-Dee 2's weapon against it. Now remember, these two fought in Series 2 of LEGO Wars, and Duck won that one after having his head caved in, really, but they were able to just get away with it after they got Waddle-Dee 2 stuck on a piece of their armour and then literally crawled away with the victory. So Waddle-Dee 2 will want revenge here, but at the moment this has all been Duck. They've been on the aggressive throughout. Waddle-Dee 2 has taken serious damage. And Duck, for me, are definitely on the verge of making it through to the semi-finals of the International Special. The pit has been released. Can they get Waddle-Dee 2 down that pit? They've definitely defended themselves well. They're much more structurally sound. They're capable of plucking Waddle-Dee 2 up into the air. Look at this! And nearly flipping Waddle-Dee 2 over. Nearly giving it a piggyback right there as well. And now getting underneath Waddle-Dee 2 and pushing it into the pit. What a performance there from Duck. That was fantastic stuff. That was sensational. Really well done. Duck just chose violence and went straight with it there. Full on aggression right from the start. Using Waddle-Dee's spinner to its advantage and causing it to basically cause more damage to itself. Having a little bit of fun rotating, managing to pluck Waddle-Dee 2 up into the air. And I thought they were going to topple them over at this point, but they were able to get away, Waddle-Dee 2. Good control there. But then Duck showing superior strength in shoving Waddle-Dee 2 down the pit.
A dominant performance from the US bot ensures we have 4 countries represented in the semis. First up will be the defending champs Atlas of England against King B Cubed of Japan.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
It's all getting a little bit tense now as we reach the semi-finals. One of these two machines will go through to the final of this, the 3rd International Championships of LEGO Wars. Atlas have been there before, don't forget. They won the last International Special. But it's the number 5 seeds, King BQ from Japan, starting things are stronger. They were able to get a hold of one of Atlas's tracks there. Weren't able to take advantage of it though. Atlas now using good control and aggression to push them back towards the arena side wall and get underneath them and lift them up with that scoop. But King BQ, don't forget, is invertible. So that would be a wasted attack unless they can get them stuck on their side maybe. Pry them up against the side wall. It would be the first time they've done that to an invertible. That's how they beat Zoidy Blue to win the last International Special, don't forget. So it could be doable again here against King B Cubed. King B Cubed trying to get underneath the front bucket. Atlas with a good lift there, pushing King B Cubed back into the arena floor spikes. And those floor spikes, they may not look the most effective of arena hazards, but they are. They truly do trip robots up. Atlas for me might just be on top now, but King B Cubed with another good side-on assault there on Atlas, trying to get those lifting forks in. Once again doing push-ups, but in doing so I've actually managed to get the lifting forks right jammed in there to the lifting mechanism of Atlas, and Atlas can't lift because of that. So that was a good tactic actually by King B Cubed. That will count for them, I think, in the judge's decision. Atlas trying to get on the side now, Atlas, very methodical, very slow robot, it must be said. That's one of its weaknesses, along with the exposed tracks. The exposed tracks aren't going to be too much of an issue here, I don't think, unless King B Cube can take advantage of that fact. Atlas, for me, has the more control and the more aggression. King B Cube isn't as fast here as it normally is, and again, nor is Atlas, really. I mean, I know Atlas is slow, but it's not usually this slow, as it's trundling around the arena. But King B Cubed has the better pushing power of these two, I'd say, because of the four-wheel drive and the grippy wheels. And they've managed to get underneath that lifting scoop a few times. Atlas could be in trouble here. The pit button has been pressed. And Atlas could be the next visitor into that pit of oblivion. That would be a surprise. Seeded first, don't forget. They are the reigning international champions. They're expected to win again. Favoured by many to win again. Because of how effective that scoop weapon is. This is a really good fight so far, and a very, very close one. I don't know who I would send through at this rate. Very tight judge's decision, as are most of Atlas's judge's decision fights, I must be honest. No, they're trying to bait King B Cubed here, maybe. Trying to make them come closer to the pit, and then they can get them down. King B Cubed tried to take advantage of that fact. We're into the final 10 seconds. This is a really, really tough fight, and very, very close. I don't know how the judges are going to decide who's won this one. Very, very good stuff overall. Cease called. This is going to be a really, really tough one. That was very close right from the off, right from the very beginning. King B Cubed, I'd say, started the stronger with that push, and they were able to get the lifting forks into the tracks. Couldn't really capitalise on that though, well, they did manage to pluck them up. Atlas then using great force and aggression to push King B Cubed back, but once again King B Cubed managed to get those lifting forks jammed into the lifting mechanism of Atlas. Oh, and they also lifted up a little internal flap there. Now will that prove costly to the judges? I honestly don't know. Very, very close this one.
And the winner by split decision is King B Cubed. After one of the tightest decisions in LEGO Wars history, the champions have fallen. Now it falls to Welding of Northern Ireland and Duck of America to see who will join King B Cubed in the final.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
So who will join King B Cubed in the final? Will it be Duck, or will we see another upset and have Welding go through? The Northern Irish machine has performed very well to get this far. I don't think anybody really expected it to make the top 4, but fair play to them. They've done their country proud. But Duck, the BattleBots legend from the US of A, seems to have the advantage, but they've rotated themselves. And I think both robots now seem to have got themselves stuck. Oh, they were okay. They managed to get away there, Duck. Is Welding okay, though? They seem to have completely stopped. And I think they're done for here. Oh, what a shame. What a shame. They barely even got a chance to move in that fight before this has happened. And this is such a shame, really. We were hoping to see more from them. They've done monumentally well to get as far as they have. They've done their country proud for sure. But it ends here for them as they're counted out. And Duck make it through to the final of another international special. Nearly throw themselves down the pit as well. Well, I can think of worse ways to celebrate perhaps. And now just toying with Welding at the end of this one, trying to pluck them up and over, have a little bit more fun with them, make something of this fight, because that was over before it really started, to be honest. What on earth happened to Welding? Oh! Off comes the bar spinner as Cease is called, and Duck go through to the final. Can they do it this time? We'll find out soon. That was over before it began, really. Welding didn't get a chance to really get going. One attack from Duck was enough. That slam there completely immobilised Welding. Both machines got stuck in the corner for a short bit, but Duck were able to get themselves away. Welding, meanwhile, had absolutely no comeback from that. And in the final seconds, had its bar spinner removed. Can Duck win it this time? They've done very well so far.
With a swift KO and a bar spinner trophy, it's Duck who will make the second international grand final. We'll let our grand finalists get ready though while we'll watch the playoff between the fallen champions Atlas and the valiant Welding.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
So here we are with the battle for the bronze. It is the third place playoff. Atlas of England versus Weldor M of Northern Ireland. The Weldor underneath Atlas straight away. Good attack there. Will we see Atlas fall once again here? It was a bit of an upset to see them lose. We were expecting to see them in the final. Atlas now underneath Weldor M. Weldor M going for the pit button. It's all action at the moment. Both robots want this desperately as Atlas get underneath Weldor M. And can they flick them up and over? Surely. Oh, goodness me. Weldor M just coming back and now pushing Atlas back towards the pit. And down. Oh, what a win for Weldor M. Fantastic stuff, and they claim the bronze and get third place for Northern Ireland. That was fast, furious, and frantic. Great start by Weldor M. I thought they were done for here, though. When Atlas got them against the sidewall and managed to lift them up into the air, I thought that they would finish when they got flicked here, but they somehow landed back on their wheels and in one foul swoop managed to scoop up Atlas and shove it down the pit. What a win for Weldor.
An outstanding reversal there from Weldor M to take the bronze for Northern Ireland. Now just 2 robots remain in the running. Will it be King B Cubed to take the trophy for the land of the rising sun? Or can Duck banish its demons from previous grand final defeats to finally win a championship? Let's find out now.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
This is it, the final of the third LEGO Wars International Championships. Duck rotating itself and getting stuck on its end, but righting itself well. King B Cubed trying to get those lifting forks underneath. It's Japan versus the US here. 2 very evenly matched robots, both 4-wheel drive, both armed with lifting arms. Or lifting devices, I should say, considering neither of them were lifting arms. Why was I hired again? I really don't know. Duck coming on the attack and being on the aggressive. Can King B Cubed get those lifting forks underneath Duck and carry them towards the pit perhaps? Duck coming around the side. They would be the favourites for this one due to their former success rate. The pit button has been pressed courtesy of King B Cubed pushing Duck into it and now getting underneath Duck, and surely it will only be a matter of time until they can get Duck into the pit, although Duck is pushing King B Cubed back. Oh goodness me, King B Cubed using great strength there to push Duck backwards, but being pushed into the pit themselves. And Duck have done it for the United States of America. And they've won the International Championships, finally. Talk about a great final. 2 well-balanced machines, giving it their all, really. Duck started off a little bit weaker, getting themselves stuck on the end, but they were able to get back. King B Cubed certainly started strong with the good pushing, managed to slam Duck into the sidewall, but then Duck able to get underneath King B Cubed, flick them into the air and shove them into the pit. Well done, Duck. They've finally done it. They've finally won a trophy.
Congratulations to Duck for avenging their loss 2 years ago to finally take the international crown for the USA. That's all for this year's International Champs, but don't fret because LEGO Wars Series 3 will be debuting next month. For now though, I've been your host David of Smeg, and we'll see you in Series 3.